Nick Ashew here with the DMV.
Has concluded.
The DMVSTREAM.COM player.
Sean Parker along with Nick Allison.
I always wanted to play volleyball in college.
Cordova trying to dig it out of the board. And they score!
Hello everyone and welcome to the PrepZone at DMVSTREAM.COM. I'm your host Jackie Sagar and joining me today is the great John Roatman of the Connection newspapers. Welcome, John.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. So we got a great show for you. We're in our spring season here, so we're going to talk about spring sports, a little lacrosse, a little baseball, and we will be previewing the Bishop Ireton girls lacrosse team, and we will watch as the Rebel Run sports guys sit down with Wakefield wrestling coach. And where to watch, you can see it Monday through Sunday at Red Apple 21, as well as on demand at DMVSTREAM.COM and Fairfax Public Access Channel 10 Thursday and Saturday. All right, we are going to get into our weekend rewind, but first, let's take a look at the upcoming DMVSTREAM.COM Nova Challenge that'll be at Marshall High School on April 10th.
It's the DMVSTREAM.COM Nova Challenge, the third annual installment of Northern Virginia's premier All-Star Basketball Showcase event is expanding. This year's April 10th event will welcome the top seniors from Fairfax, Loudoun, Arlington, Prince William, and the city of Alexandria for an action-packed day. In addition to the two All-Star games, the area's best public school basketball players will compete in a dunk contest and a three-point contest. Underclassmen will also have access to a developmental clinic hosted by our friends at Evolution Basketball. Now, not only has this year's event grown from one game to two, but by becoming the title sponsor of this event, DMVSTREAM.COM will be providing you, the viewers and fans, the exceptional, state-of-the-art coverage you've come to expect from us. As the Mid-Atlantic's #1 source for live sports broadcasting, well, DMVSTREAM.COM, we're going to broadcast this year's event live to computers, tablets, mobile devices, and we'll also make the replays available on demand on the internet, as well as our relationships with local cable television access channels. DMVSTREAM.COM produces live broadcasts for professional, semi-pro, and amateur sporting events, as well as colleges, universities, high schools, AAU, and youth tournament organizations throughout the Mid-Atlantic. With a client list that includes ESPN, The Washington Post, Monumental Sports Network, CBSSports.com, USAFootball.com, USLacrosse.org, NCAA.com, the National Federation of High School Sports, Georgetown University, among others, Synthesis Multimedia Productions and DMVSTREAM.COM has emerged as the Mid-Atlantic's top provider of multimedia. Now, the DMVSTREAM.COM Nova Challenge, featuring Nova's premier basketball players on April 10th. You can find out more about that at DMVSTREAM.COM and NovaChallenge.com. We'll see you there.
Our weekend rewind, where we will be recapping two Northern Virginia baseball games, the first of which is Herndon with the win over South Lakes, and there was a no-hitter in this game.
Yes, there was, Jackie. Antonio Menendez was just absolutely lights out. Wake Forest commit, junior right-hander. It's always been known he's had talent, but he put it all together Saturday night. It was his first high school no-hitter. He's a kid that comes from the side predominantly, tops out about 87 miles per hour from the side, but he can throw an overhand fastball at 91, overhand curveball as well. He was dominant against South Lakes. In a rivalry game, he came up with 10 strikeouts, including 6 in the last 3 innings. The funny story was, he said he didn't even know that he had a no-hitter going until about the 5th inning. It's baseball custom when a pitcher has a no-hitter going not to talk to him, and he couldn't figure out why his teammates weren't talking to him. And when he finally did put it together, he realized, you know what, I'm going to go out here and finish it. And he did in stellar fashion, just shutting down that South Lakes lineup. Herndon improved to 5-1 on the season, and they're rolling at this point, and a big reason for that is Antonio Menendez.
Well, we got another rivalry game in Northern Virginia. We have McLean with the 2-1 win over Langley. You were at this game.
Yes, I was. John Klein's lefty going to VMI for McLean. He was dealing, and he had to deal with a 40-minute weather delay in the second inning, but it didn't throw him off at all. He only gave up 1 hit through 6 innings and ended up striking out 10. He did run into some trouble in the 7th inning, didn't get a lot of run support, so he took a 1-0 lead in the 7th inning, ended up giving up a hit and a couple of walks, gave up a run, but then his lineup came right back in for him in the bottom half, got the run back, and they win in walk-off fashion on a Connor Gramis single. As you can see here, John Kleins threw a complete game, struck out 10, only gave up 2 hits, only ran into trouble 1 inning. He blamed it on using his top half a little bit too much and not getting enough of his legs into his pitching. He ran out of gas a little bit, but his performance was enough to get McLean a win over rival Langley and extend their winning streak to 3 games.
So what's coming up next for McLean?
Well, they're going to have to face some tough competition in Conference 6. They got Madison, the defending state champion, they're going to have to deal with. They're a tough group. They returned everyone, but every time John Kleins is on the mound, they feel like they have a chance to win.
All right, well, John and I are going to talk about a little lacrosse, but first, let's take a look at the history of the 29 Diner, one of the sponsors for the upcoming Nova Challenge.
I'm a local boy. I grew up in this area, moved into Fairfax County in '72, went to Laurel Ridge and Kings Park West, went to Robinson High School, went to George Mason University. So born and raised in this area, and everybody knows the 29 Diner. So I had a veterans initiative marching with 2 disabled veterans, looking for a location for them to do their award-winning barbecue out of. We stumbled across the 29 Diner. Wasn't the right mix for the veterans, but we moved forward with it as an organization. I feel the Lord put it in my hands, expects me to do great things with it for the community, for its history, for great quality food and taking care of the community. So we're excited. Just was a destination back in the 40s and the 50s with all of the folks from the county heading out west to go fishing or go out to the mountains or get out into the woods. So it's one of the only restaurants here. So it's always been a major artery in the city of Fairfax. It's just grown around it, and now it's known for 6 generations as a great diner. It's a piece of history that needs to be preserved. So I'm honored to steward it for the next 15 years.
Welcome back. Jumping right back into the weekend rewind, we have number 2 Gonzaga over number 4 Georgetown Prep. What do you got here?
Well, this was a matchup of 2 of the top lacrosse teams in the area, but even though they're both highly ranked, this one was all Gonzaga. Got out to a 9-2 lead at halftime. Nick McAvoy had a big day in the face-off circle. Sam Offit had a goal and 3 assists, but this was really a team effort in terms of 8 different players had at least 1 point for Gonzaga, and they took control early and did not let their foot off the gas. They scored 8 of the final 9 goals in the first half and just took control of this rivalry. Gonzaga came in ranked number 2 in the Washington Post, Georgetown Prep number 4, but this was a pretty convincing victory here for Gonzaga. Really took it to them.
And I know Georgetown Prep played without their star midfielder, Terry Lindsay, so that hurt them. They did score 3 goals in the final 5 minutes, but it was not enough against Gonzaga's defense.
Yeah, I think that those goals were just a case of making the score look a little bit closer than it actually was. Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with that. All right, moving over to girls lacrosse, we have number 1 versus number 2. Good Counsel with the close win over St. Stephen's St. Agnes. And this was a real comeback win, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. St. Stephen's and St. Agnes had a 5-goal lead in the first half and really had a chance to run away with this one, but Good Counsel, using some strong play in the face-off circle, was able to come all the way back, scored 7 straight goals in the second half, and even playing a player down the final 5 minutes and 39 seconds due to yellow cards, were able to hold off the Saints. With that second half run, they went from being down 12-9 to up 16-12. It was quite the comeback against stiff competition. As you said, Good Counsel ranked number 1 in the area, St. Stephen's number 2, and both of them were ranked in the top 5 nationally in most polls. So this was a great game with a lot of talent on the field, but Caitlin Gunn came up big for Good Counsel, scoring 4 goals and really helped with the comeback. And yep.
There she is, 4 goals and 3 assists. I know Good Counsel is now 6-0 after last night's win over O'Connell. And most of their games have just been complete blowouts except for this one, which is their only close game so far in the season. But we are going to move on. That does it for our Weekend Rewind. And earlier, I sat down with two standout track stars from TC Williams. They are brothers and Olympic hopefuls. Take a look. Hello everyone, I'm Jackie Sagar and I'm here with TC Williams track stars Noah and Josephus Lyles. Now I know you guys have both run a lot of different events for TC Williams, some individual, some relay. I know Noah, you've done some of your best work in the shorter sprints. What are your favorite events to run here at TC Williams?
My favorite events are definitely the 100 and the 200. I do a lot of relays. We are more known for the 4x4, but I love the 4x1 better just because I like running faster. And the 4x4 I have to run longer.
And I know, Josephus, your best events, you're tall, you're 6'2". That longer stride helps you out with the longer sprints, the 200, the 400. I know you've really excelled at the 400 meters. That happens to be the same event that your dad ran at Seton Hall many years ago, where he met your mom, also a Seton Hall track star. Tell me, what influence did your parents have on you both growing up to run track?
It's funny because a lot of people would think that, like, you know, our parents were really good track athletes, so, you know, we just necessarily go and run track. But, you know, we've done a lot of different sports. Track was actually the last sport we tried. First time I tried track, definitely did not enjoy it because my dad was my coach and he was pushing me to be a 400, 800 runner, which is a lot. I would say more challenging than a 200, 400 runner. And that 800, the long distance, I was not feeling it. I just hated it, and I just went and quit after that because it just wasn't working for me. And I come back, and then after, you know, playing basketball and soccer, and my dad and my mom were like, oh, you know, we're gonna support you in whatever you do. And I come back to track and I'm doing pretty good, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna keep going with this.
So you guys have already been so successful. You've won state championships, broken records, won countless awards. Like, we would be here all day if I had to name all of them. But tell me, out of everything, what is like one moment that really sticks out in your head, or achievement or race that sticks out in your head or really shines above all the others? Noah?
There's not one that sticks out so much because I've had so many great moments. But I remember one time we were at Penn Relays. I think it was like junior, sophomore year. We actually did really well for the first.
Welcome back to the Prep Zone. I'm Jackie Sagar here with the Connections' John Roatman, and we are going to get into our AllMetSports.com weekly Fast Forward. We will be previewing the Bishop Ireton girls lacrosse team, and they're about to face two of the top teams in the nation.
Yeah, Jackie, Bishop Ireton has quite the doozy of a weekend coming up here with their schedule. This is a Bishop Ireton team that had a great year last year, won another state championship. They did graduate a lot of talent, including Charlotte Sofield, who's down playing at the University of North Carolina. But so far, the talent they've lost hasn't stopped them. They're off to an 8-0 start, ranked number 8 nationally in the Nike U.S. lacrosse poll, but they're going to have some major tests coming up this weekend. Friday, they play Good Counsel, which is the number 1 team in the area and the number 3 team nationally, and that will be their first real big test of the year. They did, Bishop Ireton was able to beat Georgetown Visitation, but now they're really going to get to see what they're made of. And then just a few days after that one, they get to face McDonough, which is ranked number 1 in the country in the Nike U.S. lacrosse poll. Bishop Ireton has had some close games with Good Counsel, WCAC opponent, in the last few years. But last year, when Ireton went over to Owings Mills, Maryland, to face McDonough, they really got spanked. They lost by 10 goals. So this is a chance to see just how much Ireton has improved. Ireton is relying on few really good players this year. Kelly Larkin, 27 goals, 14 assists. She's going to the Naval Academy. Kayla Duperuzal has been fantastic with draws in the face-off circle. She's heading to William and Mary. But this is a team that is number 8 nationally at this point, but they're really going to get to see just how good they are coming up in the next few days. And the Good Council's fresh off a win over St. Stephen's, obviously, so they're kind of battle-tested coming into this one, so it'll be interesting to see how Bishop Ireton handles that one. They've been doing a little bit of traveling. They played down in North Carolina, played a game at Catholic University. They've been playing teams from all over the place, even one from up in Canada. So they've definitely faced some challenges here, but nothing like what they'll have coming up here. They at least get to play both games at home. So as you can see here, they're averaging 14 goals a game, only giving up 7. So we'll get to see just how good they are coming up.
Yeah, all right. Well, yeah, they are undefeated, 8-0 going into those 2 really tough upcoming games. And that's going to do it for us. That's all we got. It's over already. Thank you so much for being here, John.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And thank you all for watching. Please stay tuned and watch the guys from Rebel Run Sports sit down with Westfield High School wrestling coach and his 195-pound state championship, JILO.
By Coach Keith Shoulders, JILO, 195-pound state champion from Westfield High School. What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Good, good. Well, Coach, I'm going to start with you. Let's talk a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the Northern Region this year in wrestling, and where do you think the Northern Region stands this year?
The Northern Region, I tell you, it used to be the Eastern Region that's dominated, in the years past, but the Northern Region and the Northwest have really, taken over, and predominantly the Northern Region, and the wrestling has definitely escalated, and we've produced, several, talented wrestlers like the guy next to me.
That's right.
But it's definitely on the incline, and we want to keep it stable, and it will. And we have very good coaches in the Northern Region that are working extremely hard to accomplish our task. And we talk about it a lot at our coaches meeting, and we want to stay up top.
Great. Well, let's get into the Westfield program. It's your first year as head coach at Westfield. Tell me a little bit about the program and where the direction you want to go with it.
Well, we had a very young team this year. We started 8 sophomores, second-year wrestlers. We only had 3 seniors, and Jay being one of them. And so we had a year. We had a tough schedule, and it was a lot of hard work. And kids persevering through tough losses, and at times it was a lot of motivation and keeping their heads up and working hard and thinking about their future. Like I told you, we're very young, so.
Okay. Well, it's got to help having a guy like this.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
They talk about a leader.
All right.
He's it.
Well, tell me a little bit about that. How does he lead the team? Is he more of a vocal guy? Is he more of a I'll watch the way I am on the mat?
Jay's both. I tell you, we're very fortunate, and we joke around and we talk about it. We have a football Jay and we have a wrestling Jay, and they work together to produce the state champion Jay and the defensive player of the year. But he's the type of guy I can go down the hallway and do something, not that I would, and he could run a practice. And he leads the kids through the exercises. We have the JLO drills that we do, a little stance and motion drills. Does a very good job with that. And like we talked about, number 1 is he's a leader. Number 2, if you talk about him, Jay, just the work ethic. And having a guy like Jay, just others seeing the way he works and what he's accomplished, it's just a huge asset to have in the room.
I bet. Well, Jay, you had less than a week to get ready for your first tournament this year.
Yeah.
How did you transition so quickly from football into wrestling?
Well, at the end of football, I had been eating healthy. I've been running like 2-3 times a week, trying to stay in shape. I mean, still, I wasn't in wrestling shape yet, obviously, but I guess I was watching my weight a little bit. Didn't want to get too heavy. But I mean, at the end of the year in football, I was playing both ways, so I was already going through some pretty difficult tasks then.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of helped a lot too.
All right. Now, is your playing weight that much different from your wrestling weight?
A little bit. In the beginning of the season, I'll probably be a little bit heavier, but I'll work my way down slowly, trying to lose fat. not trying to lose muscle. I don't want to be losing that much weight during football. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, who is the toughest opponent you faced this year?
I guess two kids stand out in particular. The #1 ranked kid at 82 and 95 in the country.
Okay.
So I wrestled the #1 ranked kid at 95 at Beast my first week back, and I wrestled him 5'2", I think, and he ended up being ranked #1 in the country at the end of the year. And then at Eastern States, I wrestled Nick Reenan, who is ranked #1 at 182, and lost 5-1 to him. So, I mean, really good wrestlers.
Okay. Well, you were 40-4 this year.
39-4.
39-4.
About
30 pins.
Yeah.
What happened the other 9 times?
I mean, I guess that's part of the reason I'm going to tough tournaments like the Beast of the East, Eastern States. I mean, I'm looking for those tough matches. I mean, this past weekend, senior nationals, like I'm going out there trying to find tough matches because pinning kids like left and right is not going to get you better.
Right.
Wrestling an easy schedule is not going to get you better.
There you go. Well, you got on a roll during the conference championship and the regional tournament, pinned everybody. Did you think that the state tournament was gonna be the same way, or did you expect it to be a little bit tougher?
Well, that was kind of my goal, to pin the way through it. I talked to my brothers about it, talked to my coaches about it. I mean, I wanted just to be as dominant as I could all the way through, like not leave a doubt that I was the best wrestler in Virginia. So
I like that. I like that. Well, how much did you really have to coach this guy this year?
I tell you, the great thing about Jay is he listens.
Yeah.
Kids his caliber, it can happen to where they tune you out. They think they have a very good idea what they're doing, and they don't want to listen. Jay has absorbed everything. 4 days after he was finishing the state championship in football, he goes out and competes with some of the best kids in the country. At the time, wrestling #1 guy in the country, and he goes out and he's wrestling, and he tries a maneuver on top, a crosswise tilt, and I asked him after if that was something he's been doing for a long time. He goes, no, you were teaching in practice, so I tried it. And that's not just that. I mean, it's anyone. We have a whole staff to where Jay will just open up and listen for whatever insight you could give him, and would never shut you down. And that's the best part about him, is he'll just absorb and whatever he can and take it forward.
All right. Well, what is it like, the difference for you between football and wrestling? What are the differences that you like, team sport versus individual sport?
I mean, I like football and wrestling both a lot, obviously, but I mean, wrestling, it's all you out there. Like, the time you put in is the time you're going to get out. I mean, football, you could do all you can, you still might come up short of your goals. I mean, obviously we didn't this year because we had a group of guys all working together, working hard. But I guess that's like the difference in it. And then football is like, you go hard for 6 seconds, like 10 seconds, then you get a little break, and then you go hard again, you get a little break. And wrestling is just 6 minutes straight. So
I've often said it's the toughest 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely the longest 6 minutes. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, what's the pressure like of being a coach at Westfield? I mean, you guys are collecting titles all the time. What's it like being a coach at Westfield?
Yeah, there's high expectation. There's no doubt about it, and that was part of. I was 14 years at Annandale High School, and wanted to meet a new challenge. Yeah. That's part of it. If you don't want to, sort of like what Jay's talking about, it's a tougher competition, and if you don't want that, then you're become complacent and happy where you are, sure. But meeting new challenges is always a great thing.
Well, as a first-year coach, did you know what to expect from Jay this year when he came in? Did you expect this kind of season, or was it a kind of a shock to you when mid-season rolls around?
I've known Jay for a long time through the youth leagues, and watched him from afar, and observed him on the football field, and watched him. And I had my first glimpse of him on the football field, and saw what he could do, and that type of competitor that he is, and. From there, coming into the wrestling room and working out a little bit with him in the wrestling room, you knew it right away to what he could accomplish. Definitely on the state level, getting to the national level, that just comes with the hard work, the work ethic, coming into the room at all times, whatever he could to get a workout in, the weight room. You talk about that, what type of kid is he? And he's the type of kid that's a true competitor and will do what it takes to achieve the goals that he wants.
One of those goals, you're headed to UVA next year on the wrestling team. What are your goals for next year?
I guess overall goal in college is to win a national title, but you got to have small goals before you can really get to the big goals. So obviously it'd be just do anything I can for the team at first. I mean, if they want me to start, I'll start. If they want me to redshirt, I'll redshirt. If I need to be a backup at first, I'll be a backup at first. I mean, just doing what the team needs me to do.
Excellent. Excellent. So I talked to Tyler Scanlon last week, and I asked him, is there going to be a statue of him in front of the school? Who should really have the statue of you or Scanlon in front of the school?
Maybe we could do like a joint statue sort of thing. I don't know.
Don't be diplomatic about it. Tell me the truth.
I mean, obviously, a me statue would probably look a little bit better. I mean, I went to Westwood all 4 years while he was over at PBI for a little bit, so.
Love the school trash talking. That's awesome.
He wrestled for it.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys both. Actually, speaking of that, the explosion of MMA has brought a little more attention to wrestling. Do you notice that as you move along? Is that something that's going on, or is it kind of taken away from the participation in wrestling?
Not at all. I think it's increased the participation in wrestling. You look at your top tier MMA, UFC caliber wrestlers, you're looking at wrestlers, mainly. And the grappling on the mat has gone a long way, and it's sort of overtook. You have your Olympic goals, which you like to do, but if you can't do that, if you're not on that level or you don't have that goal in mind, definitely the MMA way is a lot of the post high school, way to go.
Yeah. So. Do you have any thoughts about MMA in your future?
Not as of now, I guess, but I mean, maybe if the opportunity presents itself, I guess. But
is it something that you enjoy watching, or?
Yeah, I enjoy watching UFC. Yeah, it's fun to watch.
All right. Well, terrific. Well, thank you guys very much. Can't wait to see what you do at UVA next year. Coach, look forward to seeing you again next year.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Prep Zone. I'm Rob Giampapa. We'll see you next time.
Hey everybody, Darcy Tharp here to unveil the DMVSTREAM.COM Play of the Week, which comes from McLean, Virginia, with rivals McLean and Langley facing off on the diamond. With the game tied at 1 in the bottom of the 7th, Highlanders shortstop Connor Grams hits the walk-off single to drive in the game-winning run for the 2-1 victory. If you want to see your play as Play of the Week on this show, be sure to tweet us at DMVStream.